Hello, welcome to Healthy Cooking and Shopping for Life. My name is Chef Iad Joseph and I'm the Executive Chef at Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. Today we're going to talk about a very popular dip that you'll see in a lot of grocery store and restaurants world around, and that is the hummus dip. Now there's been a ton of variations done on this dip. I'm going to show you the traditional one, but you can absolutely change and swap the main ingredient, which is the garbanzo bean or the chickpea, and substitute it for black beans. You could do red peppers. I mean, I've seen every variation imaginable. It all goes down to what your tastes are. It's a very, very easy dish. It adds a lot of protein and fiber and kind of a great flavor to your diet. It's a really good addition to substitute things like mayonnaise. You can make sandwiches and using this as your spread on a sandwich. If those of you who are vegetarians, and you know, I find myself just craving vegetables at one time or another, even though I love meat. You know, we have all these beautiful vegetables in front of us that kind of give you an idea of, you know, anything that you want to do. This is one of the best pieces of equipment that you'll find in the kitchen or out in your backyard, which is the barbecue grill. Grilling some vegetables, zucchini, squash, onions, bell peppers, and making a nice vegetable sandwich, and using this dip as a spread versus mayonnaise or any other kind of fatty type spread that you'd like, okay? It's very easy to make. Sometimes people have a hard time finding ingredients, and that was probably true about maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But now you can access, anywhere in the grocery store will have all the ingredients that I'm showing you today. We're going to start with, like I said, the chickpeas. I added a little bit of water, and these are just garbanzo beans, and you can find them on the shelf next to the navy beans and black beans and kidney beans and all kinds of other legumes. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the canned, I know the recipe shows you to start with a dried garbanzo bean or a dried chickpea, and you can, and that's kind of the traditional way. But we're talking about easy access, being able to go to the store, get what you need, go home and make it right away. So go to the store, you get some garbanzo beans, put it in a pot, stick the pot on the stovetop, get it up to boiling. Once it boils, you can take it off the stovetop. These are already cooked, so there's no need to actually cook them any further. What you're doing is you're trying to soften the bean itself so that when you put it in a food processor, which is the next step, as you blend everything together, it becomes nice and incorporated. So we got our garbanzo beans. We have our chopped garlic. You can either use garlic cloves or get already pre-made chopped garlic. We have lemon juice, a little bit of olive oil, tahini. Now tahini is a paste, and the tahini paste is actually sesame seeds that have been pulverized where they become a nice creamy consistency. It kind of looks like peanut butter. Now, believe it or not, this is something that my mom used on me when we had sore throats when we were growing up. Go figure, right? Using food as a medicinal, and it helps us to not cough, and we went from there. And last but not least, just nice kosher salt and a little bit of white pepper to kind of season it at the end. 5 ingredients, super, super easy. Totally something that you and your family can do, especially the kids. Obviously, we have a blade here that we're using, so you want to make sure that all the proper safety precautions are used when you are handling this and having your kids kind of participate in it. But let's get started, okay? So basically, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to try to separate as much as I can. Now, we're going to use a little bit of the water, which is fine, okay? And you want to put all your garbanzo beans and reserve a little bit of the water. Now the water is going to be used mainly to kind of soften it up and kind of blend it so that it's very well incorporated. So you can see right here, you got your garbanzo beans and a little bit of the liquid, okay? We're going to pulse this for a little bit. And you're going to see it get thicker, okay? And that's what it's supposed to do, okay? Now, depending on the consistency, and I probably added a little bit too much water, it should be a little bit thicker by now, but once we add the tahini paste to it, it's going to change the flavor profile, it's going to thicken it up a little bit, and then we're going to use a little bit of the lemon juice and a little bit of the garlic to help season it. All right. And the tahini you will find, actually, believe it or not, in the kosher aisle. So if you go down the grocery store and look in the down the kosher aisle, usually you'll have the Asian ingredients for all the different Asian cuisines that you do. And then you have the kosher aisle, which has a lot of the same ingredients in Middle Eastern cooking, because we share very similar traits. So it's going to thicken up a lot. Salt and pepper always is used at the end. That's for the final seasoning. Try to use the natural flavors of the ingredients. Okay. It's very nice and incorporated. Here's a picture of the final dish of what it's going to look like, and we usually serve it with pita bread. Okay. And now that we have our tahini in there along with our garbanzo beans, we're going to take a little bit of the lemon juice. And as you can see, I'm doing everything in layers, okay? It doesn't matter which one you do first, as long as the garbanzo beans go in first. Whether you do the lemon juice first or the tahini first, it really doesn't matter. There's no right and wrong when you're cooking. When you're baking, it's a different story. All right. So we've added the lemon juice, we'll add the garlic. If you're not a garlic fan, you can lessen the amount. You don't have to use as much, but it is part of the flavor profile. Now, one ingredient that we use that a lot of places don't use to flavor this is cumin. And we're talking very, very little, almost like a pinch of cumin. And it just adds a different layer of flavor comparison to other hummus dips. So, I mean, if you like cumin, if you like it in your salsa or other types of dishes that have cumin in it, this is definitely something that you can add. You can add jalapenos and make this spicy. You can add red pepper flakes and make it spicy. So it's really kind of diverse, just like any other dish that you may have. So right now would be the point where we would give this a little bit of a taste and see how much it needs. It's got a very nutty flavor, and that's going to come from the sesame seeds. Okay. We're just going to use a pinch. And I like mixing my salt and my pepper together. That way you don't have to worry about which one you need more of or less of. Always use the 90-10 rule, meaning 90% salt, 10% pepper. That gives it a good balance. And as you can see, you can use this for any kind of dishes or any kind of seasoning, and you've got a very nice, well-proportioned amount. And salt and pepper you want to use in stages, so you want to make sure that you add a little bit, taste it, go back and add a little bit more. This also, just like a lot of dishes, sits and becomes thicker and gets better with age. So you can make this a day ahead of time, let it sit in the refrigerator. It'll thicken up a little bit more, especially if it's a little bit loose, and you'll get a better result the next day. Now, if you're starving and you can't wait, by all means, jump on in. Grab another spoon. Perfect. All right. And that's your hummus dip. Serve it with pita. You don't have to have pita. Use it as a spread. A lot of different variations. Thank you.